Vyas Media Network.
What makes it unique is that your very earthy vocals that you provide.
Somehow, right?
Yeah. And like I guess जति बच्चामा सिका forcefully सिकाको कुराहरू, probably you guys hated it back then, but it has influenced the sound.
It has.
Right?
Yeah, also.
It has. I think you can't let it go.
Even your violin has so much the essence of sarangi in it, the way you play it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, but we are all interested in this folk sound. Like the thing is, although we studied Western classical and Indian classical and some other classical and all that, Joe has even a background in Carnatic classical and all, but our interest was, I think, always with contemporary music or with folk music, you know? Like, see, things like blues and all have relationships with folk music and folk musical understandings and all, you know? So then we naturally gravitated towards those kind of sounds. And so when we were jamming, I think the magic happened that personally already, right? We were people who were looking for similar things. Like a similar sound we were gravitating towards, right? From folk and blues to like a little bit of funk, R&B. So since we had that, it just came together very naturally. I mean, we must say that it's a gift from God for us. Like it is.
Okay.
Like it just came, and then when it came, initially we were clear, like boys, no band and all. We were like you know, we were like slightly older. Joe was already in like a certain flow. I was already in a certain flow with my work, and we didn't intend that. And then must mention here, like there is a person called Angarika, who actually now I'm married to also. But but apart from that, like actually she helped us start the band. You know, I mean she called us to play in like a festival that she had curated. They work in like an organization called Mara Collective in Bangalore, you know, and they're like, we are friends. And then, so Mara Collective kind of called us to play in this one festival called I Live Here, which was basically different communities who lived in Bangalore, who inhabited the city, would come and make a presentation of their, whatever, sound, a song or whatever, you know, and then it was like a cultural meet, that festival. Every October, they hold a festival with a theme called October Jam. So that year, it was called I Live Here, and we played there, and that was the first gig.
Yeah, that was our first.
That was the first. We never, I still remember it because I was singing off like crazy. Total noob, first show ever in my life.
What was the audience size?
Oh, it was good only. I think around 100, 150 people.
Yeah.
It was good, but then somehow, I mean, it was a festival, but somehow it went well, right? Like we got off. It was okay. I mean, it was crazy. Now to think about it, it's like crazy. But there was a rush to it. And then that day we packed up. From there, we went to the studio. I still remember we all stood in a circle. We kept our instruments. And then we were like, okay, guys, perhaps it's a band.
Yeah.
We had already been jamming for like 6 months by then. So 6 months later, we kind of came up with this idea. And slowly it started. You know, and then I think what happened was also, we started hearing our own selves. Right, because till then we were just jamming, okay, something. But after that, it kind of picked up, like, you know, every day it would grow, like one step more. This guy's playing was becoming more and more like himself.
Yeah.
So over time, I think we became conscious of our own sound, and now Sidhu, she brings something, like so that magic is there. So it's taken us time, and it's been a very organic and slow process, actually. Yeah, and it's still growing. Our second album is yet to come this year, so watch out.
Joro was, like, it's an incredible album, guys. Like I revisit that album every month or every 2 months or so, and it's an incredible album. And thank you so much for it. But yeah, I wanted to go on that, like the first show where it was like more like.
I want to talk about it,
please,
because like there's this funny event about band ko naam चाहिँ के हो भन्यो क्या. अन्त हामीलाई त band को नामै छैन. Then who Anudwatt was like Joe, Panicker and the Gauley Bhai. Joe got so angry. He's like, why am I not Gauley Bhai? Right?
Oh, that's cute.
Then say it's just Gauley Bhai.
Then we are Gauley Bhai.
Oh, for at the पहिला चाहिँ I mean Nepali.
He even mentioned why is not Anudwatt and the Gauley Bhai.
Right. Yeah, but I think the first festival, it was more like आफ्नो roots को music को represent गर्ने type ले, and I read in your websites the info section where there was a statement that said the migrants, like you, because all of you guys left your original place to a city and then started working there. Is that what bound you guys in a relationship? Is that the common point of lens?
I think actually the main common point is definitely our vision of life, like how we imagine music and a relationship with that. I think first and foremost, we are like actually brothers, you know, this guy and me are like blood brothers. Even with Joe, we are almost as good as blood brothers. You know, my father considers Joe a younger brother, so we are really tied in. But really at the core of it, I think if you look at it, what binds us together is a relationship with music. And what we imagine and what we believe music is for us in our lives and how we want to pursue it. What that vision, I think, is what really holds us together, you know, and then everything on top, it kind of keeps coming, I guess.
How would you describe that vision?
The sound Gauley Bhai, I think.
that talks itself.
Yeah, I mean, what more to say?
Very good. So Joe, when Joe came, like you guys are, you, Anudwatt and Siddhant, more Nepali background, and then Joe is from Kerala, right? Like,
so you were saying as migrants, how does it kind of bring us together?
My question was, what was his reaction to this Nepali sound? Was it alien to him? Was he like excited?
Somehow I think it was never alien to him. Okay. That is what I think it kind of worked out. Like the very first time I met Joe, and I remember the first song that I ever jammed with him was Ghamandi. It sounded very different actually back in the day, right? The first rendition of Ghamandi.
That is the most different song in the whole album.
Right? It's the first song, I think. The first song we jammed. And then, but I don't know, I think the first time we jammed only, he sang the parts back, you know that. It was like crazy.
All right.
So I don't think there was ever a thing like that. The moment we met, there was never a time when there was less of a sync. It was like how we are today. The first day we met, it was just like that.
Brilliant.
But I think it is true, you know, the fact that we are all, one thing that I must mention about this migration thing since you took out, right? And in our bio says that. I think it's because it is important to mention. Because, see, in India, right, in Indian cities, I think what's happening is the number of people who come in and the number of people who leave is more or less the same. You know, every day there are thousands and thousands of people who migrate inside, thousand people who migrate out. And then that relationship is kind of something to notice because the culture in a city comes from that kind of movement, right? Like today's reality, the reality of today's youth is to live in a space like that, is to be moving and to the ability, we need to find homes and belongingness as we travel, as we move. You learn other cultures, right? Your culture will change. And so we wanted to address like this changing cultural reality, actually. I think personally, if you look at Nepalis, it's been a real core of our historical reality also, right? Like in the sense, for how many centuries have people migrated? Nepali,
all our literature is about that.
Yeah,
leaving the country.
Everything, any love song, Birani bhanne ta genre cha kya?
Yeah.
Birani means depart, to be estranged from your love, right? Biraha. Yeah. And then, so, I don't know, so because of that, I think it was at the core, and we wanted in Gauley Bhai. And see, for Joe also, right, for other cultures also, what I was trying to say in the subcontinent, it's the same, because Kerala and the history of the people from Kerala, they've also been migrating for like thousands of years, because they had that Arabic trade route, and people were going through, you know, and then it's similar actually, strangely, if you see Kerala and Nepali cultures, they're similar so much so the architecture is also similar sometimes.
Architecture is similar.
It's like certain Onam, so what we celebrate here is like Magi
Sankranti. Okay.
Onam, and then the idea of त्यो बलि भन्ने राजा गाउँछ कि हामी त्यो देउसुरेमा ए हामी आफै ए आएका होइन ए बलि महाराजको भन्छ. So then they have a festival in which Bali Maharaj comes to their place, and then they make that all those patterns outside and they cook food. So then the Bali Maharaj आएर चाहिँ उनीहरुको घरमा बसोस् भनेर. So then I feel like certain relationships are there. So now I'm not an expert, so please don't hold me by this, okay?
Like the one common point that I've always eluded me was this हाम्रो culture of त्यो के अरे केराको पातमा भोज खान्छौ नि, and that is very prevalent in South India as well. अनि यहाँ नेवा civilization पनि त्यही छ. It's very
नेवारहरुसित basically means.
Yeah. I've always felt that.
Vyas Media Network.